What's up, all you fanatics at the campus Gridiron? Glad you could join us here for another edition of Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Whether it's the TDs on and off the campus gridiron or the extra points during the recruiting wars, let's start gabbing. Welcome back, all you campus fanatics out there, and Happy New Year to you. Thank you for joining us, and hope you had an awesome Christmas. I haven't been with you guys for a minute. I've had a great Christmas, and hope you have too. Hope you and your loved ones have enjoyed each one another as we prepare to count down to 2023. This will be one of our final shows. It's been a great year in reflection. Thank you guys for joining us, and we hope to build into 2024 on Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Well, we're coming into the nitty-gritty as we break down the first of our two matchups on Monday afternoon. Hope you guys have a lot of things planned to eat up. I plan to start my New Year's resolution and work on changing my eating habits or improving them. I've been eating a lot of really rough stuff, but that's what you do when there's good football, you guys. I will put a poll up, guys, for what's your favorite thing to munch on during these playoffs. What are you guys planning on to munch on? I'm probably going to do wings, Doritos, wings, and probably going to do some lamb chops. Yeah. But let's look at Alabama and Michigan. Most of you guys know that the Michigan Wolverines are the favorites, not by much. But, you know, this ain't even got anything to do with SEC talk or Alabama beating Georgia. I'm just not sold on Michigan in these games. Now, granted, they're going to be up for this one. I think, you know, the TCU game was one of those they wanted to get it over with. I mean, we could look at that game up and down, left and right. TCU came out hungry. Michigan came out like they were really the favorites. And it cost them. I think they're going to be focused. But here's the thing. This Michigan team, they ain't showed me anything. And it just... I know what people are going to say. People are going to say, well, Michigan beat Ohio State. And, of course, most of you guys know I am an Irish guy. And they beat the Irish in South Bend. Well, everybody saw it. Anybody that saw that game, the Irish gave that game away. So, no excuses. But... I look at this game as a whole, and I just don't see anything Michigan showed me. And I mean, it's just not something. Corums doesn't rattle me. You know, everybody's gonna be like, "Ooh, he's got 24 touchdowns," but he's only got 1,028 yards rushing. So what does that tell me? He's got a lot of touchdowns right within 1-2 yards. I know a lot of people gonna say, well, that's 24. Most running backs don't get that many. Well, true. But that's not why I'm, you know, it just doesn't shake my handle. When you look at a guy that's probably got, I would say any guy that's got that many touchdowns, you got to have at least 1,500 to 1,600 yards rushing, and he does not. And I know a lot of people say, that don't mean anything. Well, you would think it does. You know, 218 carries. He's basically a guy that does the junk work. And then I'm looking at J.J. McCarthy. 26-30. 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Not impressive. I mean, Jalen Milroe's got more passing yards. Stats aren't everything, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of Michigan's defense is good. But they're beatable. I mean, we can go and we can look up and down here. I think Michigan's got a pretty good offensive line, not an elite offensive line, but I think they've got a pretty darn good one. Now, the reason why I say I'm impressed with Alabama, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, it's just Bama and it's Nick Saban. No, it's not really that. Well, now, I will say this. I will say this in fairness. Do I think in the long haul, if the Alabama Crimson Tide are not able to get the ball down the field, this is where this game is going to be won and lost. This is where I truly believe this is where the game is going to be lost, because the reality of it is you are not going to beat the Michigan Wolverines defense. This is a game that favors the Wolverines, because the reality of it is their defense is so good, they're going to make you make mistakes. Alabama doesn't have one of those defenses. They're a not as opportunistic defense as the Wolverines. So I truly believe the longer this game goes, where the game gets tighter, and this defense is able to nail down the idea that, hey, this game is coming down to the nitty-gritty, and we have to, this is where the game is won. This is going to be where the game is won, and I truly believe you're going to start seeing Michigan dial it up, and they're just that good. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. You're looking at a team that can really, really, pin down teams and whatnot, and see, whereas Alabama, you're looking at several games where you're seeing, like East Carolina, 3 points, UNLV 7, Bowling Green 6, Rutgers 7, Nebraska 7, Minnesota 10, Indiana 7, Michigan 0, shutout, Purdue 13, even Penn State only 15 points, Maryland scored 24, Ohio State scored 24. The most points they gave up all season was 24 points. Now you could argue the level of competition had a great deal to do with that. But let's look at the Crimson Tide schedule. Now, this defense, and I remember who it was I was listening to that said that this Alabama defense is not the same type of defense Nick Saban has had in the past. And they're absolutely right. You're looking at, they gave up 34 to Texas. And they gave up 34 to Texas in that loss. They did hold UCF to 3. They held Ole Miss to 10. Mississippi State 17. A&M scored 20. Arkansas 21. Tennessee 20. Gave up 28 to the high-powered LSU offense. 21 to Kentucky. 10 to Chattanooga. 24 to Auburn in that thriller. And 24 to Georgia. Now, here's where this gets interesting. The reason why this team, because honestly, you could argue that either one of these teams has not played a high level of competition. People want to talk about the Southeastern Conference. Southeastern Conference is not that great. I'm sorry. We can sit here and go, oh, up until that Ohio State Missouri game, which if anybody that's running, and I got to do a show on that, guys, because SEC fans are running with this saying, Ohio State who?
What a dumbass!
Kyle McCord transfers to Syracuse. Their second string quarterback gets hurt in the game, and they're playing with a true freshman. And then Marvin Harrison's not playing. And then you got SEC fans talking about Ohio State too, and Ohio State haters talking about Ohio State. I'm not even an Ohio State fan, but I have enough sense to know that was not Ohio State. That would have been a straight beatdown. If for anybody to sit there and think this was the real Ohio State,
what the what a dumbass!
That's all I can do. You don't know the game, and that is the problem with a lot of SEC fans. All they know is the Southeastern Conference, or if you're a Georgia fan, Georgia. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't like to have ignorant conversations without having my water around. But let's get back to this. I truly believe that if Michigan can keep this game, if they can keep the lead, get the running game established, which Alabama shown susceptible. They're susceptible to. They did stop Georgia pretty well running the football, but they gave up a few big runs, and that's huge against guys like J.J. McCarthy. Now, this is where I believe the game is going to be won. J.J. McCarthy is going to have to take his share of hits. Now, I will say this. He's going to have to be prepared. He's going to have to be prepared because he's going to get hit. This Alabama defense, they light you up, and they will light you up often. With that being said, I truly look for Alabama to try to run Milroe a lot. I think they go man to man. I think Michigan plays man-man, and I think they try to spy him. This is what I would do. I would spy him. I truly believe if you can keep Milroe in the pocket and limit his deep throws, because I'm not scared of him anywhere else. I mean, people are going to say, whoa, look at what he did in the Georgia game. That was an anomaly. I'm sorry. That is an anomaly, people. He's not going to come out there and throw for 300 yards and have 30 completions. That's not going to happen. They're going to be somewhere around, if he throws for 300, it's going to be something like less than 20 completions. Same thing with J.J. McCarthy. He's not going to beat you Tom Brady, Peyton Manning-ish. He's going to beat you Russell Wilson-less. Like deep balls. And ultimately, my selection is going to be the Crimson Tide. And it's not because of reputation. And just to let you guys know, I've been pretty much on it. Just in case you guys didn't know. Just my luck, Alabama will lose this game. But I believe that this is what's going to happen. And I do believe Michigan has been looking forward to this game. You know, ever since that whole thing where, what was it? If I recall correctly, Saban was criticizing Harbaugh, how he was doing things, or vice versa. I can't remember how that went. But these guys have been at each other for a minute, in this time that they meet up. And I think it would not surprise me if Michigan is winning this game and then loses it at the end. But I believe this game is going to be decided by possibly a point. Just 1 point. Maybe a field goal. But I believe it's going to be a point. I'm going to push for 3, but I'm going to say a point. I think Alabama wins and moves on to the national championship game. And as I said, this reflects that Michigan should not have been the number 1 seed. It should have been Washington. Because there's no way this should continue to happen. The number 1 seed, there's no way that Michigan should have been the number 1 seed with their body of work compared to Washington. But let me know what you guys think. I truly believe that the Alabama Crimson Tide pull the upset over Michigan, and Harbaugh is still left wondering how did he not manage to win 1 game, as he's been knocked out. This will be 3 times, as he's already 0 for 2, and he's never gotten past the semifinals. But guys, go to the Facebook page, and I'm sorry, before we get out of here, you guys, thank you for reminding me. We've got to go and check what you guys said about the game. I am so sorry. Thank you. Where are my manners? Where are my manners? Let's look at him. Well, the last time since we talked, guys, I had a poll out. This is December 6th. And I wanted to follow up on the poll, what you guys said. 15% of you guys said the Georgia Bulldogs deserve to be in the college football playoff.
What the
17% said the Michigan Wolverines. The Washington Huskies, 13%. 23% of you said the Florida State Seminoles. 1% said the Oregon Ducks, 3% Ohio State Buckeyes, 11% Texas Longhorns, and 17% Alabama Crimson Tide. And here's the beef I have with this whole thing. There's no way that the Longhorns should get less votes than the Crimson Tide or the Bulldogs.
Bruh.
I'm not criticizing you guys, but you guys are not thinking. There's no way Texas should not get in over Georgia or Alabama. Georgia couldn't beat Alabama. So what makes you think they're going to beat Texas? And I don't want to hear the whole argument about, well, Alabama was a different team, so is Texas. They found a running game. A better running game than Alabama or Georgia. Oh, yeah. So, as I said, Florida State got the most votes. And surprisingly, Michigan and Alabama were tied, and Georgia was number 4. And see, the reason why people sit and they say, okay, that Texas shouldn't be there. Texas beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa So I think all of you need to go back to that poll and rethink your strategy. Texas was the better of the three. They deserve to be in the playoff, not Georgia. And I'll do another show on that because I get tired of hearing Georgia fans talking about what they should have gotten. Everybody knows that Florida State threw in the towel, so we don't want to hear that. Alabama's 34% to make the national title game, and Michigan is 19%. So you got people thinking this on the same level as I am to an extent about winning this game. So once again, that's 99 votes. Crimson Tide at 34%, Michigan Wolverines at 19%. And I got something I got to throw out there, and I'm gonna blast you. When you make dumb statements on my Facebook page or the Facebook page of the show, you're gonna get called out. If you make a good prediction, I will definitely. Gotta give a shout out to my man Aiden over at the sub shop that I eat at. You are awesome, bro. You are awesome. Thanks, Aiden. I'll be in there in a couple days. But that's going to do it for this episode of Gridiron Gab Triple Option. College Football Playoff Edition, Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Michigan Wolverines. Make sure you go to the page. The poll is still up, you guys, and check out the other polls if you want to add to them. And leave comments, guys. Don't be ashamed. Make sure they're good comments because, as I said before, I'm involved in a lot of groups on Facebook. I will be pushing up my clientele eventually and pushing over towards Twitch and possibly Rumble. And if there's any other places that you guys would like to see me at, please put it in my inbox on Instagram at Mr. CeeLo. But until the next time, you guys, the next time you're on a hot campus tailgating on a hot Saturday afternoon, remember, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.